Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today, guys, we're going to be jumping down into the world of Bitcoin, taking a look at what's been going on most recently and what we think might actually happen next. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will not miss another video update. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, guys, check it out. Linked in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. So why not go ahead and check it out? Let's jump right down into this one, though. So Bitcoin paired up with USD on the hourly chart, and Binance is the data source. We'll try to keep this nice and brief. There isn't terribly too much to talk about here. We do have a potential 335, or there's some kind of diagonal on the smaller time frames down over here that I'm not quite seeing, but it's possible. So yeah, we'll kind of park it for now, and we'll revisit that if we need to. Essentially, it looks like an ABC zigzag pattern to the downside here, although I am tracking to see whether or not we actually end up with a 53535 inside this C wave, which actually would mean that all of this here is potentially a much larger 53535 on a much bigger time scale or time zone. So if we were to think about like the daily chart, for example, we might start to see bigger movements. Now, if that all sounds alien, check out the link below for the Cheeky School. I created a 21-part video course that explains gateway theory. Specifically, I spend a lot of time talking about the impulsive structure, which is a 53535, and obviously the rules behind it. So they're quite specific. You can't bend those rules. They're unbreakable. There's lots of unbreakable rules in there, so pay attention to those. Right now, though, we are in a three-wave structured point to the upside here. We can kind of zoom in on this just a fraction. We spoke about this during the Twitch stream this morning here. We kind of see this and mapped it out a little bit higher. You can see that we're moving up towards our target at the moment. So nothing terribly too unusual there. We can also argue that we have a subwave count here. We can pull this over. If I find the wick right there, and you can see that we're right now coming up against that upper limit on our smaller time frame, but we still do have that, or that subwave count, I should say. We still have that potential to move up just a fraction more. We're overbought on the hourly, but not on the 4 or 8 hour. Those are oversold. So this progression to the upside was a bit obvious when we start thinking about the momentum on some of these time frames. Right now, it looks like we are doing a sub count in here, just doing this. We'll probably correct down afterwards and all that kind of stuff. But for now, my target still remains very much the same. If I grab hold of my fibs there and not the actual chart, we can see that we're heading up towards the 23,460, but we have that potential to just move up a little bit higher. This range, if we were to follow smart money concepts, would actually be right in here, which will actually show us an area of basically where sellers are. This is the resistance lines. So this looks like it's on the chart around the 23,175 to 23,248. Pushing past that does mean that we go up into our higher range, which is up here. Again, this is a previous area of resistance. We've broken it. We've got to retest it at some point. I don't think we'll retest it right away, but we'll keep an eye on it. It's 23,300 to 23,500, and there's always that possibility that we do push up that a little bit further to the upside. Now, we are overbought on this hourly chart, which means we are at some point going to have to correct on down, but we have still got the momentum on the 4 and the 8 hour chart. So if we jump over to the 4 hour chart, you can see that, yeah, we can still be down here. We can be down here for quite some time. We've done this before, right? We don't have to be straight up to overbought, for example. We can just kind of bounce around a bit down here. So don't get the oscillators confused. You don't want to get them kind of thinking or make them think or making you think that, you know, we have to go up. We don't have to. It's more important to keep an eye on how the sentiment is feeling and all of that kind of stuff. And at the moment, there's a lot of people going short on the market, but there's also a lot of people going long on the market. And we kind of spoke about this in the Twitch stream this morning. There's actually a sizable position. I don't know how accurate the information is, but there's a website out there that was basically saying that there's about 100,000 Bitcoin going long and only 800 Bitcoin going short, which would actually tell us that there's a huge pocket of liquidity down lower in the price charts. And well, that would be a huge problem when we could see basically a lot of people get wrecked if that is the case. I don't know how accurate that information is, but I did find it quite interesting. In terms of longs and shorts positions, there's a lot of people going short on the market, I think, at the moment. So yeah, it'll be interesting to kind of see how that kind of plays out. Obviously, just grab this liquidity. If I throw the liquidity on here, you can see that actually, yeah, there's a lot of liquidity down on these swing lows, just down here around the $22,300 level. Other than that, there isn't terribly too much. If I come and bring this up into our daily, though, we can start to see a stack of liquidity that's still sat up there at 25k. A lot of people shorting and using that as their stop loss. Little bits on a little bit higher here. We did break down out of our parallel channel here. We can see that on the daily. So again, interesting view to kind of keep an eye on that one. We are heading into the oversold area. We're not there yet on the RSI, the cheeky stochastic RSI. If I come into my settings here, though, I just want to check a couple of things with my inputs. I've got it on the average. If I change this over to the close, which is the default position, you can see how these kind of things change around a little bit. Yeah, we're not. Yeah, it's close. It's not actually too different. I'm going to put it back on the where is it? The 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗡4, which basically is just the average price of each candle. Rather than taking an open position or a closed position, it takes the average price of a candle and then gives me my stochastic on that, if anyone wanted to know. From an order block point of view on our daily chart, where are those order blocks sitting? A little bit up here around the 25k, there's some sellers, and down here at the $13,000, that's where the buyers are. So the new lower low, and that's where the buying is likely to occur. Order blocks in these two ranges, which is interesting to kind of see. Now, obviously, this is all just algorithmic stuff. I don't think it actually pulls in order blocks, but yeah, it's an interesting way to kind of get an eye and keep an eye on that. From our monthly standpoint, we're looking at the monthly close position for BTC. We are right up in our resistances. We can see this right in here. If I actually grab hold of a rectangle, right in here is our resistances. We've tested it right there. Now, if I come over into our weekly standpoint, you can see that we got rejected from the 200 EMA on our weekly time frame. So again, you can see that happening in there. So although we're pushed up higher and our monthly close is right up in this resistances, we have actually been rejected from our weekly EMA here, the 200 EMA. The volume is, of course, decreasing. So we do have divergence here where price has actually gone up into higher highs, but the volumes are going down. So again, that is an indication that things are about to turn on the market on this time frame. This is, of course, our weekly standpoint, which is overbought. Okay, so weekly being overbought is quite bearish, but our monthly is actually oversold, but it's been oversold pretty much since January of 2022. So we can bounce around a bit here, but I'm not optimistic thinking that this thing's going to turn around overnight. Whereas the weekly has to come down, and usually it takes a good couple of months or so to correct on down out of that range. So just bear in mind that it'll be interesting to kind of see how that kind of plays out. Now, if I come back over to our daily chart here and I remove our cheeky crypto SRSI, we have a bearish, we actually have a divergence indicator. I kind of spoke about this in the Cardano video, I think it was, or one of the previous videos that we did. We do have bullish divergence down here at the bottom. Basically, we have lower lows here, but actually higher highs on the momentum indicator, indicating that we're going to be making a break to the upside there. We have no indication of bearish divergence here on the daily. If I come over to the weekly, we do have some bullish divergence that did occur just before we had this break to the upside. So if you're paying attention, you would have potentially have seen this bullish divergence right down here at the bottom and then the break to the upside. But for the most part, nothing to note on that one overly. Now, if I bring up our actual RSI and we bring this back down here again, we can take a look and take stock of the situation here. Nothing to note because obviously we have come up higher here. But if we were to take this peak up here where price has actually gone into a lower high, yet we've come up into a higher high on our RSI, then that would be a bearish standpoint. So it's all about where we kind of filter or kind of take stock of and take a look at and zoom out on. So where we are right now is kind of, a critical point for BTC. What we're doing is we're waiting to see how this week goes. I do think that the momentum resets are going to be incredibly interesting. Wednesday, so tomorrow, when the Fed make their decision on, or announce their decision, it's already been made. But when the Fed actually announce their rate decision, their hikes, it's going to obviously turn this market quite a bit. So it's going to be interesting. Are we going to be going up? Are we going to be going down? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. I'm going to leave this video right there, just a nice brief update on BTC. Let me know your thoughts on what you think this week is going to hold for Bitcoin. And don't forget to join us in Discord. Until the next one, guys, have a fantastic day.